Be me. Greater than 27. Been dating my girl almost 2 solid years. We fight sometimes, but always work it out. Tonight, just came back from grocery shopping together. She tossed the bags onto the couch laughing. I walked over to her closet for a hanger. Wanted to hang my jacket so it wouldn't wrinkle. Door creaked open. Smell of perfume drifted out. Reached inside and my hand brushed fabric. Pulled it out slow, heart already racing fast. Dark blue men's shirt, large size, not mine. Not new either, still smelling like cologne. My chest iced over like I'd been punched hard. What the hell is this? I asked, trembling. She turned slowly, confusion on her face. What? She said like she didn't understand. I held it up shaking. Whose shirt is this? Silence stretched while my throat went dry. The room felt smaller with each passing second. Everything I trusted suddenly on the edge of breaking. Anger snapped before reason could catch up to me. I threw the shirt onto the floor between us. You cheating on me? Words flew like knives. Her eyes widened with panic immediately. No, it's not what you think, she yelled. But my blood boiled too hot to hear her out. You're shameless enough to keep it here? In our place? My voice cracked from shouting too hard. She reached out desperate to grab my arm. I pulled back like her touch was poison. Neighbors probably heard us through thin apartment walls. Don't touch me. Just tell me who he is. Her lips trembled, tears starting to well up. Please, just listen. Let me explain, she begged. I shook my head, pacing across the room fast. Rage pounding harder than my heartbeat in my chest. I can't believe this. After everything we built together? Shirt lying on the floor like undeniable evidence. Her sobs mixing with the silence in between. I felt like I'd already lost before she answered. I kept pacing the room, fists clenched tight. You really had the guts to hide this here? My voice echoed sharp off the apartment walls. She stepped closer, reaching for me again slowly. Listen, it's my brother's shirt, she said quietly. He stayed here when he was apartment hunting. I let out a bitter laugh, sharp and cold. Your brother, huh? That's the best you got? She flinched like I slapped her with words. Look at the size, the tag, the style, she cried. It's not even yours, you know that. Tears rolled down her face like she couldn't stop. I wanted to believe her, but anger screamed louder. Shirt on the floor looked like undeniable proof. I pointed at it like a prosecutor in court. Funny how that shirt smells like cologne too. She shook her head, desperate. He wears that scent. Please believe me. Don't make this something it's not. But my laugh came out bitter and sharp. Trust already cracking under the weight of doubt. I bent down to grab the shirt off the floor. Wanted to shove it at her face, demanding answers. But something slipped from the pocket as I lifted it. A crumpled bar receipt fluttered down onto the carpet. I froze, staring at the tiny piece of paper. Picked it up slowly, hands shaking with fury. 2 cocktails listed clear as day on the bill. Dated the exact night she swore she stayed home. My pulse exploded as I held it tighter. Turned toward her, eyes burning like fire now. So, explain this then, my voice cut sharp. She looked terrified but still tried to speak. It's not what it looks like, she whispered weakly. I slammed the receipt onto the table hard. 2 drinks, same night you lied to me? Her sobs grew louder, but my patience snapped. Don't even bother. This says everything already. Rage shook my body worse than any fight before. I felt betrayed by the paper more than her words. I stood there gripping the receipt like it was a weapon. Every lie I ever feared now felt confirmed. She reached out, trembling. Please, let me explain this. I pulled back, voice sharp, don't you dare. My heart pounded so loud it drowned her cries. You swore you were home that night, I said. She nodded quickly. I just didn't tell you. My laugh came out bitter, almost broken. You expect me to swallow that? Really? Her tears spilled faster as she covered her face. I was with my friend at the bar, she sobbed. I lied because I knew you'd get mad. Her voice cracked like glass about to shatter. I paced the room, shaking my head violently. Receipt still burning in my hand like fire. Every step felt heavier than the last one. Shirt still on the floor, cologne still in the air. Every detail screaming betrayal, no matter what she said. I slammed my fist against the wall in frustration. Rage boiling past the point of return inside me. She collapsed onto the couch, crying harder. I stood across the room, breathing ragged. Tried piecing her story together in my head. Brother's shirt, drinks with a friend, hidden lies. None of it felt like truth I could believe. I stared at her shaking shoulders, torn completely. You broke everything with that one lie, I muttered. She looked up, eyes red, cheeks streaked with tears. I just wanted to avoid another fight, she pleaded. I never cheated, I swear on everything. Her words rang out, but couldn't pierce the doubt. Receipt in my hand louder than her sobs. I wanted to rip it up, burn it away. But I couldn't, because proof doesn't just vanish. I dropped it on the table with a heavy thud, collapsed into a chair feeling sick to my stomach. Love tasted sour in my mouth that moment. Trust felt gone no matter how I searched for it. Room went silent except her broken breathing. I whispered, I don't even know you anymore. She wiped her face with the sleeve of her shirt, eyes swollen but still burning desperate into mine. You know me. You've always known me, she begged. I shook my head slow, heart split wide open. I thought I did, but not anymore, I said. Her lip trembled like she might collapse on the spot. She reached for the shirt on the floor carefully. Look, see the size tag, see the style, she whispered. Her voice shaky, but clinging to some hope. I didn't move, just glared at her in silence. She held the shirt out like it was proof of innocence. But all I saw was evidence of betrayal. The scent of cologne still heavy on the fabric. My fists clenched tighter until my nails dug in. Truth shouldn't need props, I snapped harshly. She broke again, tears streaking down her cheeks. Please. I lied about the bar, not about us. Words cut, but didn't heal anything inside me. Rage and heartbreak tangled until I felt dizzy. The air between us heavier than stone walls. I bent to grab the shirt out of her hands. Wanted to throw it away, in this nightmare. As I pulled it close, something slipped again. A tie, dark fabric, tucked deep in the closet. I froze mid-motion, staring at it in shock. Pulled it free with shaking hands, held it up. Her eyes went wide like her heart just stopped. I can explain, she whispered instantly. I laughed bitterly. Of course you can. Tie dangled from my hand like a final nail. My chest twisted so hard I could barely breathe. How many men leave pieces of themselves here? I spat. She stepped forward, hands out, pleading desperately. It's not what it looks like, I promise you. I jerked the tie behind my back protectively, not letting her touch it, not letting her spin it. Her tears spilled fresh as she shook her head. Please, just believe me this once, she cried. But all I felt was cold, sharper than knives. Like trust already buried 6 feet under us both. I sat down hard on the edge of the bed, tie balled up in my fist behind my back. She hovered in front of me, crying uncontrollably. I couldn't look at her without burning inside. So it's your brother's shirt, huh? I said coldly. She nodded through tears, voice barely audible. And the bar receipt? Just a girl's night? I pressed. She whispered, yes, I was scared to tell you. I barked out a laugh, bitter and broken. And now this tie, let me guess, cousin? She shook her head violently. Please stop twisting it. Her desperation only made me feel more trapped. Do you even hear yourself right now? I snapped. Her sobs filled the room, but I felt numb. Shirt on the floor, receipt on the table, tie in my hand. Each item screaming betrayal louder than her voice could. I wanted to believe her so badly it hurt. But doubt already carved itself into my bones. I whispered, truth doesn't need this many stories. She froze like those words shattered her completely. She fell to her knees in front of me suddenly, grabbed my hands, gripping them like lifelines. Her tears soaked into my skin instantly. I swear I didn't betray you, not once, she cried. Her voice cracked raw, body shaking like she'd break. I pulled my hands back slowly, couldn't take it. The sight of her pain hurt almost as much as doubt. I stood up pacing, tie still clutched tight. Her eyes followed me like I was already gone. Room spun with anger, fear, heartbreak all at once. My reflection in the mirror looked like a stranger. Someone hollowed out by suspicion and silence. How do I even look at you again? I muttered. She whispered, because I'm still the same girl you loved. Her words sliced me open but didn't heal the wound. I dropped the tie onto the floor beside the shirt. Symbols of a love crumbling right in front of us. Silence swallowed the room thicker than cement. And I couldn't tell if this was the end. I collapsed onto the chair by the window, drained. Moonlight spilling across the floor, highlighting the mess. Shirt crumpled, tie twisted, receipt flat on the table. My head pounded like every truth fought inside me. She sat curled on the couch, knees to her chest. Eyes red, staring at nothing like she was empty. I wanted to shout, cry, demand answers again. But all I managed was a whisper in the dark. You lied once. How do I know it's not twice? Her head snapped up fast, eyes full of pain. Because I love you, that's why, she pleaded. But love suddenly felt too fragile, too thin to hold. Every object in the room felt heavier than her words. I rubbed my temples, wishing it all away somehow. If only the closet was empty, if only no receipt. If only I hadn't opened that damn door tonight. My chest ached with the weight of what-ifs. She whispered again, please don't give up on me. I closed my eyes, but doubt burned them shut. Silence pressed harder than any scream could manage. Morning came, but the air felt colder than night. I woke on the chair, stiff, heart still heavy. She was in the kitchen, making coffee quietly. Looked up at me like I was a stranger. 2 mugs sat on the counter, hers untouched. I walked in slowly, eyes fixed on her tired face. We can't just pretend this didn't happen, I said. She nodded, voice flat. I know we can't. She slid the receipt toward me across the counter. Call her, my friend. She'll tell you I was with her. Proof offered, but my chest still twisted with doubt. I stared at the paper like it mocked me. Truth sitting right there, yet still unbelievable. It's not about proof anymore, I muttered coldly. Her shoulders slumped like I ripped the last hope away. Then what's it about? She whispered, broken. I wanted to answer, but nothing came out. Just the sound of coffee dripping into an empty pot. 2 people trapped between love and suspicion, and no bridge strong enough to close the gap. That night, I sat alone staring at the closet. Door still half open like it mocked me silently. The shirt hung limp on a hanger again. I picked it up, smelled the cologne one more time. Rage bubbled up, but so did exhaustion deep inside. How could fabric hold more power than her words? Behind me, she stood quietly, watching carefully. Why are you torturing yourself? She whispered softly. I turned, eyes sharp, because I don't trust you. Her face crumpled like the words hit harder than fists. She stepped forward, clutching her hands together tight. What do you want me to do? Beg forever? My throat tightened, but no words came out. Every part of me wanted to believe again. But suspicion rooted deep wouldn't let go. Shirt dangled from my hand like a verdict. I threw it back into the closet angrily. Door slammed shut, echoing through the whole apartment. But shutting the door didn't shut out the doubt. It stayed loud in my chest, beating like a drum. Later, I sat on the bed staring at the receipt. Dates circled in my mind like flashing neon. She crawled onto the mattress slowly beside me. Eyes swollen, lips trembling, but still brave somehow. I lied about one night, not about us, she said. Voice shaky but fighting to sound steady. I kept staring at the paper between my fingers. Proof of cocktails, proof of lies, proof of nothing. Do you even realize what that did to me? I asked. She reached for my hand, but I pulled away. Anger flared again, but so did sadness heavy inside. I was scared of you leaving, that's all, she cried. Her words echoed but didn't erase the damage done. The more she explained, the less I believed. Like each sentence dug the hole deeper beneath us. I dropped the receipt on the floor, disgusted. Looked at her eyes shining with hopeless tears. Fear doesn't excuse betrayal, I muttered bitter. Her face twisted in pain as she whispered, then it's over? Silence filled the room before I could answer. I walked out to the balcony just to breathe. City lights flickered below, but felt a million miles away. Cold air rushed in, sharper than the fight itself. Behind me, I heard her crying through the glass door. Part of me wanted to storm back in and end it. Part of me wanted to hold her and forgive instantly. I gripped the railing so hard my knuckles ached. Questions circled my head with no exit in sight. Was I losing the girl I loved or exposing the truth? Either way, it felt like a no-win situation. I leaned my forehead against the cold metal bar. Whispered, why do you have to lie at all? Silence outside answered me louder than her words inside. I stayed out there until my chest calmed slightly. Then walked back in, her eyes swollen red. She looked up at me like waiting for a verdict. I sat on the edge of the bed exhausted. Tie and receipt lying like ghosts on the floor. I muttered, I don't even know who we are anymore. Her hands trembled as she whispered, we're us, still us. Days blurred after that, both of us pretending normal. Groceries, work, small talk over coffee like strangers. But every quiet moment the closet screamed in my head. Trust hung by a single thread, fraying more each day. One night, she slid next to me on the couch. Placed her head on my shoulder carefully, cautiously. I wanted to relax, but my body stayed stiff. Images of the shirt and receipt never let me rest. I miss us, she whispered softly into the dark. I swallowed hard, fighting back the ache in my throat. I miss us too, I admitted, voice hollow. But missing wasn't the same as trusting anymore. She curled closer like she was trying to erase the gap. I stared at the TV, but didn't see anything. Just replayed that bar date over and over in my head. Cocktails glowing under neon, her laughter not mine. I gripped her hand, but didn't squeeze back fully. She noticed, sighed deep, and stayed silent after. Our love lived in the room, but felt half dead. One evening, I opened the closet again slowly. Shirt still hanging, untouched, like a curse on a hanger. I pushed it aside, looking deeper in the shadows. That's when I saw it tucked against the wall. A man's tie, folded neat like it belonged there. My stomach dropped harder than ever before. I grabbed it fast, heart hammering out of my chest. Walked into the room holding it behind my back. She looked up from the couch, eyes tired already. I pulled it out slow, letting the silence speak. Her face drained of color instantly, lips parted. I can explain, she whispered like a broken record. I shook my head bitter, laughter cracking sharp. Explain? I'm drowning in explanations already. Tie dangled from my hand like the final nail. My chest burned, not from anger but emptiness. Love felt like it collapsed right there in my palm. Her tears started again, but I couldn't move closer. I tucked the tie behind me, not letting her touch it. Too afraid of another story I'd never believe. I sat down heavy on the edge of the bed. Shirt, receipt, tie, a graveyard of trust around me. She hovered near, arms shaking, lips trembling. Please, don't let this be the end, she begged. Her voice cracked, but I stayed cold and silent. Because truth didn't matter anymore without faith. I whispered low, almost to myself, it already ended. Her knees buckled as she sank to the floor crying. I closed my eyes, wishing the images would vanish. But betrayal and doubt burned too deep to erase. She reached for the tie, but I pulled it away. Like guarding the last shred of control I still had. Silence heavier than bricks filled the room again. I stared at her and felt the love fading fast. Even if she told the truth, I'd never know. Because doubt once planted grows forever in the cracks. I dropped the tie onto the floor with disgust. Walked past her slow, every step sharp like glass. Door clicked shut behind me louder than her sobs. And I wondered if anyone could have believed her story.